This video will cover the topic, Table for a linear function.
What is a linear function?
A linear function is a function that when graphed creates a straight line. To do this, linear functions need one or more variables that are either known variables or constants, with no exponents or powers. Here are a few examples of linear functions. F of x equals 5x plus 1, f of x equals 10x minus 2, and f of x equals negative 5x plus 5 are all linear functions. Here are some examples of functions that are not linear. F of x equals x squared plus 1, f of x equals x to the fourth minus 2/3 x minus 12, and f of x equals 2x divided by x minus 1 are all functions that when graphed do not make a straight line.
Oh, is that why they are called linear functions? Because they create perfect lines on a graph?
Precisely. Now that we have an idea of what a linear function is, let's create a table for a linear function. Say we're given the linear function h of x equals 5x minus 5, and told to complete a function table for x values of -3, -1, 0, 1, and 4. Because this is a function, each value of x, our input, will have a unique h of x value, our output. Our table will have two categories for our information, our input, x, and our corresponding output, h of x. Because we've already been given our x values, let's apply them to our table. To find the corresponding h of x values of a given value for x, we need to replace all x's we see in the function with our given value for x. Let's start with x equals -3. When we input that x equals -3, we get h of -3 equals 5 times -3 minus 5, which equals -20. Now that we have our h of x value, we can input it into our table. When we set x equal -1, we get the problem h of -1 equals 5 times -1 minus 5, which gives us the answer -10. For x equals 0, our function becomes h of 0 equals 5 times 0 minus 5, which equals -5. For x equals 1, we get the problem h of 1 equals 5 times 1 minus 5, which equals 0. Finally, for x equals 4, we get h of 4 equals 5 times 4 minus 5, which equals 15. Keep in mind that we are making a table for a linear function, and a linear function always graphs as a straight line. That means that we only need a few points in our table to be able to accurately graph the line. So now we can see that our table is long enough to be used to produce a graph for this function.
Okay, I think I get it, but let me try to summarize what we just did to make sure. First, we know that a linear equation is an equation that has properties that when graphed will result in a perfect straight line. In our table, we have the categories of our input, x, and the corresponding outputs, h of x. Because we have already been given our inputs, we can put them in our graph and find the outputs. To do that, we need to take a given value for x and plug that in whenever there is an x in our problem, and then solve for h of x. After that, we can place this value in the corresponding h of x value.
Exactly! This seems to give a very good idea on how to create a table for a linear function.